We have our first look at the Fantastic Four First Steps. Let's take a look at the trailer. Hey everybody, I'm John Lunsford from the Pop Culture Life. The Fantastic Four First Steps is the biggest Marvel movie releasing this year, in my opinion, on top of Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts. We have our first Fantastic Four movie within the MCU. We've already seen some test footage of it at Comic-Con, but now we have our first official teaser in front of the Super Bowl. They're releasing it a little early, so you can take a look at it. Let's jump right in.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Love the retro futuristic vibe.
Herbie, how's that sauce coming?
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. Okay, is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
Yes, chef. Missed opportunity there.
T-5.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi!
And I am right here. Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
Galactus.
As a family.
All right. So some interesting things here. I'm going to pull it back up, go over the trailer. So
Welcome to the Baxter.
the retro futuristic vibe kind of has an Avengers tower, like what we saw with the first Avengers, that penthouse that Tony Stark had kind of has that same look. I like the overall vibe of it. The kind of 50s, 60s era vibe we knew it was going to be shot during that time. And we're seeing it here. Pedro very cleaned up, a little different than we're used to seeing him in something like Game of Thrones, or like we saw him in The Last of Us, especially, where he was a little rougher there. You could tell this is more of an established universe. Obviously, they have the big Fantastic Four logo on their building. So this is more established that they're superheroes. It's not like, oh, we're going to have this whole origin story and we're going to be these superheroes that kind of slowly but surely start developing our powers. It seems like we're probably going to jump in and they're already going to be pretty big if they've already built this whole building to support their cause. This part right here, I kind of thought was a missed opportunity with, obviously Ebom Moss-Bachrach being a big character within the bear. You could have done a Yes Chef here from the little robot, or he could have done it to the robot, and it would have been pretty funny. As we go through the trailer, I'm not totally huge on the way the Rock face looks here, the Rock body looks here. A little more CGI. I'm sure it's kind of a mix of CGI and prosthetics and some practical effects here. I kind of like the way he looked in the original one. But it's kind of growing on me. I've watched the trailer a couple of times now, and it's kind of growing on me a little bit. I think the going to space aspect of this being older and being closer to what we saw with like the Apollo space missions and all is going to be kind of a cooler way of looking at it, as opposed to the Miles Teller version of Fantastic Four, where it was very futuristic. I feel like in how they did things, technology had advanced past a point than it actually is right now. So I like kind of going back in time and looking at how things were. You see the old school computers in the back. I kind of like that. I think it's going to be cool to see that aspect of things. And then obviously when they go to space, they get their power. So we're going to see some of that here. As you can see, Ebom Moss-Bachrach looks normal there, and he talks about how good looking he is before clicking the TV off. I thought that was a good frame right here where it clicks off and you see him looking in the mirror. Obviously there's a lot of issues when it comes to them trying to learn their powers. I wonder how much we're going to see of like, oh, I got to get used to being a big rock face. Oh, I have to get used to her, being invisible, having a force field. You got to get used to being you know, Johnny Storm and the Human Torch instead. Seems like he was kind of taking it all in stride. I thought Chris Evans actually did a really good job with that. Back in the day, we saw a little bit of that Deadpool this past year. But I'm kind of interested to see what the actual story is going to be. Is Galactus the ultimate bad guy in this? Is there another bad guy? We saw a shot of John Malkovich in here where he is looking like a bad guy. I don't know what character exactly he's playing, this shot right here. So we'll see, you know, what that character ends up being. I've seen some things rumored out there, but I don't know exactly who it's going to be. The Fantastic Car, we saw a shot of one of these in Deadpool, in The Void. This looks like a little bit different version here, but obviously more the retro vibe here. As you can see, the older cars they had back in the 60s. And then this is the shot that a lot of people are talking about, Galactus. We're finally getting a more comic accurate Galactus. We just see the back of his head here. In the test footage they showed, you actually saw his eyes. And I don't know if that was just a shot they made up just for the test footage or if that's actually something that's going to be in the movies. But I've heard people talk about, man, how is Galactus this small compared to the Statue of Liberty? Galactus, his official height is like 28 feet or something like that. But obviously he can alter his size. He's a planet eater. So he's got to be a little bigger than the statue, just a little bigger than the Statue of Liberty in order to eat planets. Another thing we didn't see also, speaking of eating planets, is the Silver Surfer, played by Julia Garner. You know, kind of the thing with the Silver Surfer, at least the way it has been, is he comes and warns, hey, he's coming to eat your planet. So we didn't get to see that here, but I like getting a little bit of a shot of Galactus here, even though it's very quick, just kind of descending upon the city. You can see the shadow right there. I really like that, showing how big he actually can be, because I feel like this shot right here is a lot bigger than what this shot is right here. Obviously, he'll come down and talk to maybe the Fantastic Four. There's going to be some dialogue back and forth. Ralph Ineson is playing him, who is a really good actor, was just in Nosferatu, has done a lot of different things. So it's going to be interesting to see this. And like I said, they're already established. You can tell because of all the Fantastic Four merchandise they have. There's kids with a Thing mask on that they pull off. So it's kind of interesting to see. I like when you do movies where you don't have to go through the same origin story over and over again. We've seen this Fantastic Four origin story twice now. Once in an okay movie with, you know, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans when they played that, and then once again with the Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan version of it that wasn't quite as good. But I look at a movie like The Batman. I like how The Batman was just jumping right in. We don't have to have the, okay, we got to see his parents get killed. He gets, you know, all upset, decides he wants to become Batman. We skipped right past that in The Batman, the Robert Pattinson version, and I kind of like that. We'll see what they do with Superman this year, how much of an origin story there is there with Superman. Once again, I would like for them to just get right past that and get into Superman being Superman. I'd like the same thing here. We know the Fantastic Four. You can maybe show some flashbacks, and I know we see some of it here in the trailer of, well, you see Ebom Moss-Bachrach looking normal. You see Pedro and Vanessa Kirby talking about, well, this is, you know, such and such before we got our powers. And you can kind of see a little bit of Joseph Quinn, or as we call him in our house, Eddie, you know, kind of learning to deal with his powers too. So there may be some of that, but I'd like to just get into the story. Once again, it seems like there are already established superheroes within the universe. So we'll see there. I've heard a lot of leaks about what the story actually is with this. Some of it good, some of it I'm not a big fan of, but we'll see what actually comes out. I'm not going to spoil any of that here because who knows what's actually true at this point. We'll see July 25th. What did you think about the Fantastic Four trailer? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are we heading towards a great end to this saga like we got with Infinity War right there? Or are we heading to a not great end once Doom comes in? Plus, no Doom in this trailer. Will Doom actually be a part of this? I'm not even sold necessarily that he'll be a part of this, maybe at the end in the post-credit scene, but I think this is more to establish these characters and maybe Galactus, if Galactus is a part of anything moving forward. But if anything, it's about these four characters. But we'll see what happens. It looks decent. I'm looking forward to the actual trailer when we get it. This, of course, is just a little teaser. It was only a minute and a half, so I'm looking forward to getting the actual teaser. But overall, I'm in. I'm sold. It's one of my most anticipated of the year, and I'm very much looking forward to this. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the trailer, and make sure to like this video and subscribe for more.